Do you want to start a business? Are you afraid? Do you not know what questions to ask yourself to see if this adventure is right for you? Today, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you a list of questions that I think are going to be really important for you. Write it down. If you want to manifest this, it's thoughts and mind produce after their kind. We got to think positively, but we also have to be realistic about what it is we're wanting to get into. Building a business, starting a business, this is no small feat. This is a big deal. You got to carve the time away to really focus to be able to determine if this is the right step for you. So here we go. Question number 1. Why? Why do you want to start a business? What is the problem that you're solving with this business? Let me give you an example. I started Santa Cruz Core Fitness and Rehab. This is an integrative wellness center where we have a group of people. We have massage, chiropractic, acupuncture, personal training, nutrition, physician. So we have all these different services that we offer under one roof. When I started this business in 2009, nothing like this existed. Today, there are other places that are attempting to be integrative, but not quite like mine. Even though there may be competition, I'm still able to solve a problem and I'm still able to carve a niche out for myself almost 10 years later. What is the problem you're going to solve? That's the question. Here it is below. Go ahead and write that down. So you got that question. What problem are you trying to solve? Now question number 2. So let's say for me, my problem was I wanted a person to be able to go to one location and get comprehensive care and comprehensive preventative care. I didn't want to have a place where people were going to have surgery because that wasn't my model. I wanted people to be able to prevent surgery. Now question number 2, how are you unique in solving that problem? Why are you the best person to solve that problem? Write that down. You might be thinking, well, I'm not the best person to solve that problem. I should stop now. Wait a minute. I'm not giving you these questions to help you to discount yourself. But what I am trying to do is show you that starting a business is no small feat. 80% of all small businesses fail in the first 5 years. That's why we do the hard work before we invest the money. Number 2, what is it that you're going to be able to provide to solve the problem? In my case, I thought that I was the best person to do this because I had the experience of going all over the place and not getting the care that I wanted. I knew firsthand what it was like to not have the optimal treatment. Of course, I thought I would be the best person because I knew what not to do and what I wanted and what I needed as a patient and as a practitioner. I knew that I was going to be able to solve this problem because I knew it from all sides. So go ahead, write down your reason. Why are you the best person to solve this problem? I'm going to give you a recommendation. There's this book called The E-Myth. It's not a new book. It's been around for a long time, but I really recommend you read it. It talks about the artist, the entrepreneur, and the visionary. This woman who's a baker, she makes the best pies, and she wants to start a business. As the baker, she's an artist. She's making this artistic, beautiful, delicious apple pie, let's say. She has this grandiose idea of starting a bakery. But it's not just like, I'm going to put up a sign, I'm going to have my baked goods, and people are going to come, they're going to eat this amazing food. In starting a business, there are these 3 people, or these 3 personas, I should say, artist, entrepreneur, and visionary. The visionary can see the big picture. Maybe it's a chain of bakeries with these amazing best American apple pies. Then you have the entrepreneur, the person who really needs to do the work, get it out there, and be thinking of all these ways to create the vision that the visionary wants. And then you have the artist. The artist is the person who's got that apple pie. They have the secret sauce. They're making it, and it's incredible. Are you each of those people? Are you the visionary, the artist, and the entrepreneur? Write that down. Which role do you think you play the most successfully? Then write down what role you think you have the most challenge with. To make your business successful, you really need all 3. Are you going to be putting on all these different hats at different times of the day, or are you going to hire that out? If you think that you're the weakest at one of them, take a minute to reflect and write that down. Now you're clear where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. What is it exactly that you want to do? You've got this problem. So my problem was I wanted to create a wellness center because I thought it didn't exist in the way that I wanted it to exist. I thought I was the best to solve the problem, and I identified myself as a little bit of all 3. I didn't really know what an entrepreneur was at the time when I started my business, but I definitely was the artist. I started as a personal trainer. So I had ideas, but I didn't really understand where I was going. It wasn't super clear, but I had where I was and I had my vision. Then I had to see, okay, if I believe in myself, which, hey, believe in yourself, which is why we're doing these exercises so that you can flush out all that negative crap. We're thinking about possibility. We're not thinking about impossibility, right? If I listened to every single person who told me that I couldn't start a business, I wouldn't be where I am today. I started my business when the market crashed. I got a loan in 2008. I thought, okay, what is the worst case scenario? I'm going to put myself in that worst case scenario. What am I really afraid of? And then I'm going to see if I can handle that. Then I have nothing to lose. If I can go all the way to worst case scenario, then I'm okay. So what are the risk factors that are maybe preventing you from doing this? So you've got the business idea. You know that you're the best person for the job. You've identified where your strengths and weaknesses are. What is it that's preventing you and holding you back? What is it that you're afraid of? Write that down. Write down all your fears. You're afraid you're getting hit by a bus? Write that down. You're afraid that you're not going to have time with your family? Write that down. We're not putting merit to any of these. We're just compiling this list of fears because it's up here. We got to get it on paper. Let me tell you about some of my fears. My business would fail. I had so many people at the dead drop, horrible part of the economy say, good luck. I don't think you're going to have success with it. I thought about it hard and I was scared. So I wrote it down and I then went to my worst case scenario. Filed bankruptcy because I run out of all money and I move in with my parents. Am I going to die tomorrow if I have to move in with my parents and file bankruptcy? So my credit's shot for 7 years and I move in with my parents. I was okay with that. I was able to accept that fate and I decided to start my business anyway. You go to your worst case scenario and then you see if you can live with that. Maybe you can't live with that. Maybe that's a deciding factor or a deal breaker. Maybe you can live with it. Maybe you can't live with it, but you're gonna do it anyway. Whatever it is, it's just nice to kind of get all the facts out there so you can make a really great decision. Whether it's the right decision, only you know. What is it that you need? Again, we can use my business, Santa Cruz Core Fitness and Rehab, as an example. I needed money. I needed money because I needed to buy equipment. I wrote a list of all the equipment that I needed, added it up to the money. I needed equipment. I needed money for my first and last month's rent, for my deposit. So I didn't really know how much I needed, but I guessed, and I thought I needed $25,000. Now, had I known what I know now, $25,000 is nowhere near the amount that I needed to run a business or to start it. So what I did instead was I maxed out all my credit cards. Now I don't advise this, which is why you need to get really clear on how much resources you need, whether it be from your parents, from your savings, from your retirement, from the Small Business Development Center, who I got a loan from SCORE. Those are organizations that help small businesses. So I definitely recommend those to you. In your community, they've got to have resources for small business development. It's a great way to boost the economy, so most communities are all about it. What I recommend is really getting that line item list of how much money you're gonna need. When you do this, then you can get an idea of what it's gonna take, because that's a lot of resources. I did it 80%. Remember, I missed the marketing, but I thought I needed $25,000. I applied for a loan. I went to the Small Business Development Center. It's called a micro loan because it's not very much money. To me, at 26, it was a lot of money. To them, it wasn't very much money. Then they make you develop a business plan. I had to have a business plan. I had to prove to them that what I was doing was going to be successful. And I had already done some personal training and I could show some income. So I showed them how I could make the payments. That's why we're doing these exercises. So if you go and you do anything like this, you are really clear with what your goals are. However, I did not plan my finances accordingly. And because of that, I maxed out my loan. And like I said, I maxed out all my credit cards. But when I was looking at the fear about whether I could do this or not, I thought, I believe in myself. My worst case scenario is that I'm gonna go and live with my parents, but hey, I'm gonna apply for a loan. If they don't believe in me, that'll be telling. But they did, they offered me the loan and they believed in me. Take a minute, don't get overwhelmed by the numbers, just write down what it is that you need. You just wrote down your list of all the things that are going to cost you money. Do not have a heart attack, please. Take a deep breath. You can do this. Sometimes it gets overwhelming with the zeros. I totally get it. And sometimes, like me, you didn't plan and you maxed stuff out and then you're in more debt than you wanted to. But rest assured, it does get better. Having been in business for as long as I have, my business grew exponentially and I was very fortunate. Not everyone is like that. Sometimes businesses, they grow gradually. Growth is good. Growth is perfect. Growth is awesome. You build it, they will come. Happens, but it happens with a lot of work. So you got to be prepared. Now you got the financial element you're taking into consideration and you're understanding if this is right for you and you're seeing how much roughly it will cost you? Time. Time is another huge resource. So we've talked about financial time, we've talked about your fears, why you're solving the problem that you're solving, and that you are the best person for this. We are all given 24 hours in a day. And guess what? You have to sleep. I thought, oh, I was 26, right? I'll sleep when I'm dead. That death mark will get to you way sooner than you want it to if that's the approach you take. Building a business is very taxing, and if you don't believe me, start your own and tell me about it. However, it's not impossible, and it's nice in ways to be your own boss. I love the creativity, I love the freedom, but a lot of times it's not freedom. What it feels like is you're stuck. Be realistic. Oh, I'm not gonna be like that person, or I don't understand how they could not take care of themselves. These are all thoughts that I had when I was starting my business. But you know what? It does happen. I have gained weight. I have been stressed out. I have not slept for over 24 to 40 hours. I never in a million years when I started this business would have thought that that is the kind of stress that I would be under. I've lost my hair. Again, these are worst case scenarios, and it's never fun to go there, but it's good to get just eyes wide open when you're making a decision like this. It's super important. If you're not good at time management now, get ready, because it's going to be super important. What are your current obligations that you have to do? Number one, you have to go to the bathroom. Number two, you have to eat, you have to drink water, you have to sleep. So far, everybody has at least 4. Do you have children? Are you married? Do you have a house payment that you need to make? Do you currently have another job and you wanted to do this job on the side? Make a list. What are your current obligations that you have? How much time does each obligation take? You have a wife, you have children. How much time per week are you going to do that? You love exercise, it's super important to you. How much time are you going to take to do that? I really, really recommend that you create a schedule and you try your best to stick to it, and you have really healthy boundaries. Because a lot of times for a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people starting their business, they think, I can do that later. I'm going to do this now because this is where the opportunity is. And that is true to an extent. But there's certain things like sleep, your health, that if you can't do those things, you are going to suffer. If you don't have time for your family and your spouse, you may not have a spouse, and you may have kids that don't know your name. You need to figure out what are your priorities and where they all line up so that you can just manage your time. If one day a week your time is spent doing nothing, turning your phone off, being detached and just spending time with your family, you're going to take responsibility by having that time alone or with your family, and then you'll be able to work the other 6 days. And maybe that's not enough, but it's going to have to be because your priority is your family and your health. Bottom line, figure out where your priorities lie, how much time each of those take, so you can have an understanding of how much time you really realistically will have for your business. Add up all the time with all the obligations that you've just listed. 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week. Include sleep in there. Let's shoot for at least 5 hours. Yes, I'm a health professional, and 5 hours is not enough sleep. But if you're an entrepreneur and you're starting a business, you're probably not going to get very much sleep. So that's why I'm saying, what is the bare minimum? 5 or 6 hours. Obligations, X time. Then you have over here, new business and how much time you have to dedicate to that. So is it 30 hours? Is it 60 hours? Is it 80 hours? What is it? Now, what is the problem you're trying to solve? Why are you the best person to solve it? And how long is that going to take you to solve that problem? I did personal training and I wanted to start a business with a lot of people under one roof. Time for me to do personal training. So one-on-one with clients or two-on-one or small groups. And then I needed to manage my staff because I had a staff now because it wasn't just me. I had to account for management time. I had to account for time where I'm actually working with my clients. And then there's this growth period. Right? So I was the artist doing the work and I was the manager, and then I needed to work on the business and be that entrepreneur and the visionary. Did it take 40 hours? No, it took way more than 40 hours. What is it that you're creating and how much time do you think it could take? Let me give you a little bit of advice. Take that number and probably multiply it by at least 2. Let's say you don't have enough time in a day to do it. You don't have enough time in a week. That's okay. Your business may just not grow as fast. There's nothing wrong with that. It's better to be sustainable than shoot all your energy out and then burn out. Not sustainable. So we want this project to be sustainable, which means it can be successful. So the problem that you're solving may be a bigger problem than you anticipated once you go back and look at all your questions. That's okay. Maybe what you found in doing this exercise, in writing all this down, is that you are stoked, you are on board, and you're ready to commit. Maybe you found that this project that you're biting off, you only really need to do half of it to make it successful. So this problem is actually 3 different or 2 different problems, and you're only going to take a chunk of it. And that's going to be maybe a little bit more manageable and doable. So when you are figuring out what the problem is, how much time you have, how much resources, time, energy, motivation it takes, support it takes, it can be overwhelming. You're still listening and you're still watching, so you are on board. That means you're ready to go to the next level and the next video so that we can continue to help you build your business success.